A good credit score is one of the most important things when it comes to buying a home. So what can you do to make it better? When you're making a big decision like buying a house, it takes some serious financial commitment. And one of the biggest things when it comes to getting a home loan is your credit score. It's that magic 3-digit number that shows lenders if you're creditworthy, if you're worth the risk. If they loan you that money, are you likely to pay it back? The higher your credit score, well, that means you can also get a better interest rate and better terms for the loan.
Oh, you enjoy setting terms, do you?
Since I sprouted.
So in this short video, we'll have some tips. I have 10, including the 3 Ps on how to improve your credit score and increase your chances of getting approved for a home loan. And tip number 1 is to check your credit report and do it on a regular basis. I've used Credit Karma for years. You can check it as often as you like, and it's free. I like that part. Basically, your credit report is a record of your credit history. That's what they use to determine your credit score. You can request a free copy of your credit report from each of the big 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and you can do that once a year. And like I said, you can also check websites like Credit Karma and see regular updates on your credit. It sort of shows you if you're making progress when you do things like pay down a credit card balance. But it's also smart to check on a regular basis to see if you find any mistakes or something that's inaccurate that could be hurting your credit score. If you do find a mistake, you can file a dispute with the credit bureau and have it corrected. That's important. It's also a good way to see if somebody's hacked into your accounts or opened up a new account in your name or anything like that. By the way, keep this in mind. The credit score you find online probably isn't the same number the lender sees when you're trying to get a new car loan, and it's probably not the same number they see when you apply for a new credit card or a home loan. In fact, they might all come up with different numbers.
Why is that, Captain Ron? Well, nobody knows.
Well, we do know several reasons. First, the 3 different credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian, maintain your credit reports. So if you check your Equifax report, but the lender checks your TransUnion report, the numbers won't match. Also, there's more than one credit score brand. There's FICO and there's Vantage Score. You might be more familiar with your FICO score, but they both use a range from 300 to 850. The higher your score, the better for you. Any score under 580 is typically considered to be poor, while good credit is usually anything over 670. If you're higher than 800, that's excellent. But the way lenders interpret your score might not be the same. Also keep this in mind, the definition of a good credit score can vary from lender to lender. A 680 score might be good enough to qualify for a credit card at one bank, but you might need a 690 score to get approved by a different lender. Hey, do me a favor. If you're finding value in this video, if you're learning something, be sure to hit that like button and drop a comment down below. Let me know what you've done to raise your credit score and if it worked. Tip number 2, pay your bills on time. Payment history is one of the most important things they use to determine your credit score. In fact, it's like 35% of the formula. Late payments can really hurt, one of the most serious things. It can really have a negative impact on your credit score, so you've got to pay your bills on time. If you have a history of late payments, turn that around and put it in the past. Over time, your credit score will improve. If you have a problem paying your bills on time, you might want to set up automatic payments or reminders to help keep everything on track. By the way, I'm not a financial planner, but I have been a licensed real estate agent, consultant, advisor for more than 20 years, and I've worked with a lot of people as they go through the loan application process. Tip number 3 is to keep your credit utilization low. This is 30% of the formula they use to come up with your credit score. What's it mean? Well, it's the amount of credit you're using compared with the amount of credit you have available. Basically, it's all about not maxing out your credit cards and paying down your balance. A high credit utilization ratio can lower your credit score, so it's important to keep it low. In fact, you should try to use no more than 30% of your available credit. That means if you have a $10,000 credit limit, don't spend more than $3,000. Less is better. Try to keep it under 10% or even 3%. Also, if you can pay off your balance every month, that's great. And that brings us to tip number 4, pay down your debts. High levels of debt can really hurt your credit score. You've got to work on paying down that debt, and don't spend more than you make. Focus on your goal of owning your own home. So take some baby steps and start paying off your high-interest debts first, things like credit card balances. This can help you save money on interest and help your credit score over time. Tip number 5 is to keep your old credit accounts open. This might not make a lot of sense to some people, but actually the length of your credit history is one of the key things they look at. It's 15% of the formula they use to figure out your credit score. So you got to keep those old accounts open even if you don't use them. A longer credit history can improve your credit score. So if you're a younger person maybe trying to buy your first home, you might not have a very long credit history, but even if you're older, it's really important to keep those older accounts open. Tip number 6 is to avoid opening new credit accounts. Every time you apply for a new credit card or store card or car loan or anything like that, the lender will check your credit report, and that can lower your credit score. So it's best to avoid opening any new credit accounts unless you absolutely have to. Those dings on your credit report can stay on there about 2 years, so if you're planning to apply for a home loan, try not to apply for any other loans. New credit and your credit mix each account for 10% of the credit score formula. As far as credit mix, lenders like to see different kinds of credit, like credit cards, car loans, student loans, or lines of credit. Tip number 7 is to consider a secured credit card. If you really have no credit history or if you have a low credit score, a secured credit card can help you build or rebuild your credit. With a secured credit card, you have to put down a security deposit that sort of serves as collateral for the credit line. So if you use a secured credit card responsibly, it can help you build your credit over time. Tip number 8, kind of mentioned this earlier, don't max out your credit cards. Don't do it. Even if you pay your bills on time and pay off your balance every month, maxing out your credit cards can impact your credit score, and not in a good way. Try not to use any more than 30% of your available credit to keep your ratio in a healthy range. Tip number 9, get some professional help. You might need this, you might not, but if you're really struggling to improve your credit score on your own, and you just can't seem to get there, you can work with a credit counseling agency or a financial planner. They can actually help you come up with a personalized plan to improve your credit score and meet your financial goals. You can usually find help for free. And tip number 10, the 3 P's of improving your credit score: patience, patience, and patience. It takes time, so you got to be patient. It's very unlikely that your credit score will improve overnight, but if you stay consistent, you will see a gradual improvement over time. Your credit score is so important if you're applying for a home loan, so you got to do everything you can to improve it. Even if it's pretty good already, try to improve it. Be sure to check your credit report on a regular basis, pay your bills on time, don't max out your credit cards, go back and watch this video again if you need to. And what are the 3 P's? Patience, patience, patience. If you could smash that thumbs up button, it'll let me know you got some useful information from this video, or you at least enjoyed watching it, and it'll help YouTube suggest this video to other people who might need some advice. By the way, you might also enjoy watching this, and if you subscribe to this channel, that's even better.